Hello, welcome back to the Hunter Call of the Wild. So today we are going to talk about my beloved, which is the black bears, specifically the black bears on Silver Ridge Peaks, because that is the map I'm most familiar with. Actually, the only map I'm familiar with for black bears. So for those of you who do not know, I have 3 black bear great ones, and I've been consistently shooting black bears since March of 2022, which was before the black bear great one was released. It was released in June of 2022 with Reventuli Coast, and I did put out a guide shortly after, I think like on July 4th or something. I put a guide out for black bears then, and since then, shortly after the great one came out, Silver Ridge Peaks got a reset with the pistol pack, I believe, in like October or something like that. So I haven't made an updated guide since then, but I have been streaming the black bear grind. My second black bear great one, I only grinded for on stream, which was a lot. It drove me insane. not gonna lie, but I have that whole grind documented on stream alone, and the bear did spawn on stream. I have become kind of like the person to ask for bear tips on SRP, and I figured it was high time I do a guide. So most of this is gonna be just from my experience of hunting and shooting bears for over a year. So it's going to be a lot of anecdotal evidence. To start off with, everyone's map is different. So this is just based on my map and having shot over 3,000 bears in the past year and a half, right? So your map will be different, especially if it's a fresh map or a map that hasn't been hunted for bears, right? But some things we need to talk about is all black bears are solo zones. That means every time you shoot a bear, their zone gets destroyed. So the bears move around a lot because you're removing their zones. So they have to find new zones. This is a grind of trying to get your bears to be as consistent as possible. It is possible, but it will take time and persistence. Also, something to note, you need to find all of your black bear zones, all of them. And black bears can drink everywhere on SRP. The only places that there are not black bears is this tiny lake here and this tiny lake here. But black bears can drink at every other spot of water on this map. So it is imperative that you find where they are and take note of what is drinking at what lake. So the distribution is usually like 2 to 3 females per 1 male if there's a male at the lake. There are some lakes that have all females. At the beginning, there will be very few multi-male lakes. If you find multi-male lakes before shooting any bears, you're really lucky. It's usually mostly female lakes, and then if males are sprinkled out throughout the map, it is imperative you find where all of your males are. And I personally only shoot males because I like knowing that wherever my females are, that's where they're gonna stay. As someone who's far into the black bear grind, I have found that females will move around. Whether you shot them or not. I don't know if it's new females being spawned in or what, or new females spawning in, or if it's females just moving around the map, but I have females that have replaced males at lakes, but generally they will stay put. And so for me, it's just easier to shoot males and find them around the map rather than have males and females in the respawn pool being spit out all over the place. So I would recommend only shooting males, and eventually as you're shooting males, for whatever reason, they will congregate at lakes. So you will start to see male lakes with like organically without even trying to like swap zones or anything. I do not herd manage my bears. I shoot every male from level 2 to level 9. I shoot the bears across the whole map. Now my map is mostly concentrated up here in the left corner, as you can see by the hunting pressure. My males are all around here, but I still have some over here on the right hand lakes as well. These lakes here have anywhere from 2 to 4 males, and Bending Forest is also one of my most consistent lakes. I know a lot of people don't like that one, but I consistently have 3 to 4 males there. But that just happened over time. They didn't start out like that, but one day I went to a lake and there were more than 2 males, and it was like, holy cow. So it does happen. It can take a while. I know some people do zone swapping, but just for keeping it simple, just shoot all the males. They will eventually congregate to lakes on their own. And don't be discouraged if there's a bunch of males at a lake one time and then the next time there are fewer males there. That's just how they work. They like move between lots of lakes. So this grind is a grind of going around the map looking for your males. That's just how it is. So please don't be discouraged. I love the bears. I want everyone to have a good bear grind, and I want everyone to have a black bear great one. And I know it's one of the great ones that people assume they're not going to get, or they're not going to work on it until it's the very last great one that they need, or they're just not even going to try because for a plethora of reasons, whether it's a daunting grind, because it's a really hard grind, and it's at night, and the bears don't show up in their zones, and they can be inconsistent, but I want everyone to have a good grind. So that's also why I'm making this guide and just kind of talking about it. It doesn't have to be terrible, and bears will get consistent. Unfortunately, I don't have numbers like how many kills will it take for your map to become consistent. I never really paid attention to that. I just shot bears, and one day multiple males showed up at a lake, and it was exciting for me. The main thing is that this is a grind of chasing bears around the map. The easiest way to keep track of them is if you only shoot the males, and then find where the males hang out, where they frequent, and consistently shoot them. I have males like on the coast, and I just ignore the coast because I don't like it. And every once in a while, I'll go to lakes where I know males can be, and sometimes there are males there, sometimes there aren't, but I always shoot the males. Let's talk about other stuff. Like I had mentioned earlier, they are late to their zones, which is probably the biggest gripe that people have, is that bears do not get to their zones on time. I set the time to 2200, and my males are usually there. Now, something that I also do, if I'm freshly on SRP, I haven't done any grinding for the day, what I do is I will warm up the map, which that's an old term. I know that was a term being thrown around a long time, a few years ago, when the whitetail first came out. But I do think there's a difference. Like the longer you spend time on your map, I have witnessed the bears become more consistent and consistently show up to their zones at the 2200 mark. I don't know if they show up at 2000. I consistently set it to 2200, and they will show up. The males are usually there. Females always show up first. And so what I do is I'll go to where I know there are males. If I don't see the male, I'll move to the next zone. And if there's still time by the time I've made my rotation, if there's still time left on the clock, I'll return to the first zone and see if the male has made it there. But the longer I'm on the map, the more consistent the bears will be, which is a good transition into the fact that I don't main menu. I know a lot of grinders, they main menu to try and get their animals back to their zones, and I don't do that. Not with bears. I do that with fallow, and I find that it doesn't really make a difference. But when I do it with bears, I've noticed that it disrupts the groove that I've had going with the bears, and it just kind of messes up how fast they're getting to their zone. So I usually just reset the time. I take like the full 2 hours, because unfortunately when you start at 2200, you'll only have 2 hours of their zone time, which is actually usually enough time to get to my consistent zones. You will only have 2 hours, but by the time it's 24 or midnight, I just reset the time to 2200 and go to the next zone, and I don't usually have to main menu at all. And like I said, I've tried main menuing and it just messes up my groove with the bears, so I've found it more successful to just change time and not main menu at all. Which also, another thing that messes up the groove with my bears is if I do not collect every bear. When I don't collect bears, I get weird respawns. They don't respawn, they start to move around too much, and they're hard to refine. So make sure you're picking up 99% of your kills. And I'm not a good shot. Like, it is a joke on my channel that I have bear aim, and my bears run forever, but I make sure to track most of them down, because I have witnessed leaving 3, 4, 5 bears on the map and just main menuing. It really messes up their respawns and how they're coming back to their zones. So it is imperative that you pick up your kills, and that's across all grinds. For fallow, anything. It's been kind of hinted by Jaxie on the EW stream that you pick up your kills, and it helps with respawns and eventually spawning great ones, right? So pick up your kills so your respawns are also consistent. I usually, whenever I move around the map, like, I usually have like a similar path, but I also am cognizant of where there is hunting pressure. So bears are all solos, right? They are solo zones, so when you shoot them, it kills their zone. So I don't really worry about pressure in that regard of it killing zones, because the zones are dying anyway. But I don't like to stack pressure from the run before. So whenever I'm doing like my next run, I avoid where there's already pressure and move it to another zone. And sometimes I don't have enough males. Something happens where they aren't being consistent, and I run out of bears to shoot, so I can't move the pressure around. So what I do is I actually throw in a bison run, because bison drink at non-bear lakes. So what I do is I will destroy zones with hunting pressure by shooting bison, and I pick up as many as I can, so that way I'm clearing bear pressure, but I'm also putting more animals into the respawn pool, which I think also can help. I mainly do it when I see that there's too much pressure on the map and I don't have enough bears to move that pressure around, so I'll go and shoot bison. I chose bison because they're not at bear lakes, and I want a Mela or leucistic. I used to shoot mountain goats, but unfortunately they don't drink anymore. So, but that's just to clear pressure from my bear lakes and to put another animal into the respawn pool. It's not necessary if you have enough bears. I've just found that for me and my map, the bears don't like hunting pressure, or maybe it's just a me thing. I don't want to stack, like, I don't want bright magenta pressure, and I have enough zones that I can move that pressure around. So I just don't like to stack that much pressure. So like, I'm looking at my map now with all these little purple specks. So I'm going to be going to these lakes where I know I have male bears, and move the pressure from these lakes. So like these are my favorite lakes up here. So I'm gonna try and move the pressure away from those lakes by hopefully having bears wherever else I know they are. Something that I think if you don't have, get the tech pack, the high tech pack, because those have the night vision binoculars, which is really useful. Thankfully, it seems that SRP has been kind of brightened, like it's pretty bright with the moonlight, and you don't need the night vision that often. However, sometimes the bears in the high reeds are hard to see, and it's easier to see with night vision. So it's very helpful in that regard, but also I'd recommend getting that just for the night vision goggles or binoculars for any other night hunting. The night vision scope isn't good, so I would just do the binoculars with like a normal scope. Let me just show you my route that I take. And it's kind of interesting. Before the SRP reset, my bears were mostly in the right down here, but whenever SRP got reset, they were moved to the left, left-hand side. And thankfully, my favorite lake still is very consistent. And I am utilizing all 16 tents. And because I'm not too worried about hunting pressure, I don't use any stands, like any tripods. I only use a tripod here at Bending Forest to see over the reeds, but other than that, I'm not using, or like here. So I usually start here, and so like up here at Two Fawns, I have all females. Bears can be here. I've never had bears here. I have females here, and I once had a male there. I have females here. I have females here, and I've had males here. I have mostly females here. Sometimes I have a male here and males here. This one is hit or miss with any bears, but when there's bears here, there's either 1 or 2 males. I have females here, but I also, as you can see, had males here. I had an 8 and a 6. I have a male and a female here. I have females here. Sometimes I have a male, and sometimes I have a male here. I have females here. I have females here. I used to have males. Not so much anymore. This is my first Great One Lake. And I have a level 1. I do have 4 level 1s on the map. They're just pets. So Bear Crow is this level 1, but I do have males sometimes, like on this side, but I have females mostly. Females, sometimes a male. Females, sometimes a male. Females, sometimes a male. I think I had a male there twice. I don't know, mostly females. I've got males along the coast here and here sometimes, and actually here, but I pretend they do not exist. I actually have a level 1 on the coast as well, but like I've got like level 5s or something. Like I just don't want to have to chase them around, so I just don't really do the coast. The only time I look at the coast zones is if I'm desperate to get rid of hunting pressure. 2 to 3 males here. 2 to 3 males here. This one is hit or miss. Like sometimes there are 2 to 3 males and sometimes there's nothing. But I love that. The eyeball of Bear Wallow Basin. Females. I already went over this one. 1 or 2 males here. This is the infamous mule deer that everyone talks about. 2 to 3 males here and a female, and if the males aren't here, they've moved here. I've had 2 to 3 males here, 2 to 3 males here. I actually have two ones here now, so it's like more like 1 male here, 2 to 3 males here, 2 to 3 males here. I've had 1 male here, and I've had a male here. So yeah, bears can be literally everywhere. And so I guess the most important part, which Crow literally just said this in his bear grind today, the most important part is to get really familiar with your bears and how they move and where they can be. That is the most important part, and understand how the respawns work, because like there are times where all of a sudden I'm getting like level 2s and 3s, and it's like, wait a minute, that's weird. And then lo and behold, there's a 9 on my map, you know? So you just have to get really good with your bears. It's definitely one of those grinds that it's a grind of love, but it's doable. And once they are consistent, they're bearable, pardon the pun, but once you get the hang of it and you know your bears and you know where they are, they're bearable. You can do it by going the whole way across your map. My way of doing it isn't efficient, it's not fast, but it gets great ones. I've had 3 great ones and 3,000 kills. So I think that says something, you know? I hope this rambling was helpful. I just kind of wanted to talk about it. I wasn't gonna do another guide video, but I get asked a lot when I'm streaming for bear tips, and I figured, well, I don't want to gatekeep bears. I've been told, someone tried to tell me once that I want to like gatekeep bears and make it so other people don't have great one bears. No. I want everyone to experience a good bear grind, and I want everyone to get a great one bear because I love them so much. I want to share them. Like, it's not something that I'm trying to make mine and only mine, you know? I hope this was helpful in some way or another. I know it was probably a little rambly, but it's something that I care a lot about and that I've done a lot of work to perfect in my own way. This is just how I've been doing it for the past year and a half and have really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you probably if you want to stop by the streams, come say hi while I'm streaming 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. EST most nights. You can join the Discord. I am often in there chatting with people, and I am obviously a mod in a gazillion streams, so I will see you around. Thanks. Bye.